Hi viewers, this is Swami, Assistant Professor of Zoology, Government Degree College for Women, Nalgonda. Today we are going to discuss classification of phylum Chordata. Classification of phylum Chordata. As we know, all those organisms which have dorsal notochord, dorsal tubular nerve cord, pharyngeal gill slits, and post-anal tail, in any stage of their lifetime, they are regarded as the chordates. Now, all the organisms above over 56,000 species are there. All these organisms included under various subphyla, superclasses, classes, and the respective orders. Now we will go through all these organisms where they have included, where they have settled in a systematic position based upon their specialities, based upon their characters. Now let us see the entire phylum Chordata get divided into two subphyla. Phylum Chordata get divided into two subphyla, namely Protochordata and Vertebrata. Protochordata and Vertebrata. The name itself indicating Protochordata. Proto means primitive, first evolved organisms, first formed organisms, primitive. And chordates, as we know, which have the basic character features of chordates, like the notochord, nerve cord, pharyngeal gill slits, and the tail. So those organisms which have evolved earlier than all the other chordates are termed as the protochordata. These are also known as Ecraniata. Protochordata or Ecraniata. A means absence of. A means absence of. Cranium means skull. Cranium means skull. Say these organisms which have included under the Protochordata, they lack skull. Skull is absent in all these organisms which are included under the subphylum Protochordata. So these are the primitive chordata organisms without any skull. So that is Ecraniata. Cranium means skull. Ecranium, absence of skull. These are the protochordates. Let us see what are the protochordates. Basically, there are two groups. One is the Urochordata, another one is the Cephalochordata. The subphylum Protochordata get divided into two small groups, Urochordata and the Cephalochordata. Let us see the Urochordata. The Urochordata name indicating that Uro means tail region. Uro means tail. Chorda, dorsal notochord. Eta, bearing animals. Those animals which bear dorsal notochord in their tail region. They are termed as the urochordates. As we already discussed, that is, all the urochordates are the marine animals and they have dorsal notochord, dorsal nerve cord that is confined to the tail region only, and it is seen only during the larval stages. Only during the larval stages. So as and when the larva with the dorsal notochord and nerve cord, as and when it undergo metamorphosis, that is retrogressive metamorphosis, they lost their tail along with the dorsal notochord and the nerve cord, and they modified into adults without any notochord and the nerve cord. Both the structures get degenerated along with the tail degeneration. So they keep their pharyngeal gill slits throughout their life. They are also commonly called as the sea squirts, and the body may be covered by the cellulose like material which is known as the tunicin, so that they are called as the tunicates. And the specific feature of all these urochordates is the retrogressive metamorphosis. The larva with the highly developed characters undergoes metamorphosis and being formed into an adult without any developmental characters. That is the retrogressive metamorphosis. So the best examples are Herdmania, Accidia, and the colonial form Botrytis. And there are other organisms like the Pyrosoma, Salpa, Doliolum, Kovalvischia. Like that, there are many organisms. These all are from the Urochordata. And coming to the Cephalochordata, cephalo means head region. Cephalic means head region. Carda, dorsal notochord, eta, bearing animals. So that is, in the organism's body, the notochord extended up to the cephalic region, not confined to the head region. That is a wrong statement. The dorsal notochord extended up to the cephalic region, up to the oral funnel, so that they are known as the cephalochordates. So the best example is the Branchiostoma lanceolatum, otherwise the common name is Amphioxus. These are the organisms which are looking like the fishes. The body of the Amphioxus looks like the fish, and it has the transparent body. And here and there we will see the Z-shaped myotomes in the body of the individuals. Z-shaped myotomes in the body of the individuals, and only 32 species may be found. All of them are the marine forms and distributed in the shallow water. Head is absent. Body is divided into trunk and tail. Exoskeleton is also absent. The myotomes are muscles. They will be dorsolaterally segmented. We will also see the enterocoelic coelom. Although the head is absent, mouth is surrounded by oral hood with the sensory oral cirri, which are meant for the filter feeding. And the specialties of the cephalochordata are the dorsal notochord and the dorsal nerve cord. Both of them they extended from posterior region to the anterior region up to the head, and they retain throughout the life of the individual. Throughout the life of the individual. And generally, the respiration takes place through the body surface. The digestive system may be developed, and here also we will observe a reversible circulation. In general, solenocytes are the excretory organs. These are the cephalochordates. The best examples are the Amphioxus, and the scientific name is Branchiostoma lanceolatum. Branchiostoma lanceolatum. It is commonly called as the Amphioxus. Later on, we will see the various images of these organisms. So these all are Urochordata and Cephalochordata. Both of them are included under the Protochordata. The other subphylum is the Vertebrata. The other subphylum is the Vertebrata, where these are also again called as the Craniata. They are known as the Craniata. Cranium means that is a skull. Cranium means skull. Eta means bearing animals. The vertebrata meaning is vertebra. They are the structures which protect the spinal cord and which forms the vertebral column. Eta means bearing animals. Those animals which bear vertebrae, they are known as the vertebrata. The other name of the vertebrata is craniata. Cranium eta. Those animals that bear cranium. Craniata. That is, these animals have the skull around the brain and the vertebral column around the spinal cord, simply we can say. So that they are called as the vertebrates. So while we are discussing the general characters and while we are talking about the fate of the dorsal notochord in various animals, so that time we have noted a point, that is the vertebrates, otherwise the developed organisms from the chordates, the dorsal nerve cord, dorsal tubular nerve cord developed and differentiated the anterior portion into the brain and the posterior portion into the spinal cord. In the vertebrates, the brain is covered by skull and spinal cord is covered by vertebral column. Both the skull and the vertebral column, they may be made up of either with the cartilage or with the bone. So this is the vertebrata. Now these vertebrates, based on the presence and absence of jaws, they have divided into two groups. One group is the Anatha, another group is the Gnathostomata. One group is the Anatha, another group is the Gnathostomata, based upon the presence and absence of the jaws. Of about 46,500 species are included under the vertebrata. 46,500 species are included under the vertebrata. right? Now, what are the differences in between Anatha and the Gnathostomata? The name themselves, they are indicating A means absent. A means absence of or absent. Natha means jaw, absence of jaws. These vertebrates, they lack jaws. Simply jawless vertebrates. They are jawless vertebrates. So simply we'll call them as the Anatha. Whereas Gnathostomata, Gnatho means jaws, stome means mouth, eta means bearing animals. Those animals which bear jaws in their mouths, they are known as the Gnathostomata. Anatha and the Gnathostomata. In the Anatha, the true jaws are absent. True jaws are absent, where in the case of Gnathostomata, true jaws are present. And if you observe the other organs, like the locomotory organs, paired organs are absent. Paired appendages otherwise. Paired appendages are absent. Whereas here, paired appendages are present like the pectoral girdles, pelvic girdles. Paired appendages are absent in the Anatha, whereas present in the Gnathostomata. And in the Anatha, there are only two semicircular canals in the inner ear. There are only two semicircular canals are present in the inner ear of the organisms. Whereas under the Gnathostomata, here there are three semicircular canals. Basically, in the Anatha, there is no pinna, otherwise external ear. In some of them, middle ear is also absent. Only inner ear is present with the two semicircular canals. Where in the case of Gnathostomata, in the inner ear, there are three semicircular canals. Instead of two, they have three semicircular canals. And another more character is the dorsal notochord is persistent in the adults. Dorsal notochord is seen in the adults in the case of Anatha. Whereas in the Gnathostomata, the dorsal notochord may persist or may not persist. And it may be replaced by the vertebral column. It may be replaced by the vertebral column. So that is, there are 46,500 species of vertebrates. They are divided into two superclasses. Two superclasses. One is the Anatha, another one is the Gnathostomata. Anatha, absence of jaws. True jaws are absent, or these are commonly called as the jawless vertebrates. Jawless vertebrates. Whereas Gnathostomata, they bear jaws, true jaws in their mouths. Gnatho, jaws, stome, mouth, eta, bearing animals. These animals bear jaws in their mouths. Then coming to the Anatha, it is divided into two superorders. One is the Ostracodermy, another one is the Cyclostomata. Ostracodermy and the Cyclostomata. All the ostracoderms are extinct animals. Extinct animals. There are several extinct orders in the class Ostracodermy. These organisms' body is heavily armored. They have the protective structures and they are very ancient, very old, and very primitive type of organisms which looks like the fishes, They may be seen during the Paleozoic era, and these are the first vertebrates to form. Ostracoderms are the first vertebrates to form. Due to the presence of the armored structures over the skin, otherwise the epidermis, they are called as the ostracoderms. Ostracus means made up of bone, bony, ostracus, and dermis, skin. The skin covered by bony plates. Ostracodermy. And the best examples are Cephalaspis and the Hemicyclaspis. Cephalaspis and the Hemicyclaspis. So these are the extinct anathens, extinct organisms included under the class Ostracodermy. Cephalaspis and Hemicyclaspis are the best examples. And coming to the Cyclostomata. Cyclo means round, circular. Cyclo means round or circular. Stome means mouth. Eta means bearing animals. Those animals which bear a round mouth or circular mouth, because they lack the jaws as they are included under the anatha. So the mouth without the jaws looks like a sucker. Otherwise, the shape of the mouth will be the circular or round only due to the absence of jaws. If the jaws are present, the mouth may be slit-like structure. Now, Cyclostomata. Those animals which bear a round-shaped mouth or circular mouth, they are known as the Cyclostomata. There are two orders under the Cyclostomata. One is the Petromyzantia, another one is the Myxinoidea. Petromyzantia and the Myxinoidea, both of them they grouped under class Cyclostomata. The best examples for the Petromyzantia are the Petromyzon, which is commonly called as the lamprey, and the example for the Myxinoidea is the myxine. Let us see some sort of characters of the Cyclostomata. Body is eel-like or cylindrical. No appendages are seen. Skin is soft but no scales and enriched with the mucous glands. Trunk and tail muscles segment into myotomes. Endoskeleton may be fibrous and cartilaginous. As usually, jaws are absent. Mouth is located in the ventral portion, which is looking like a sucker and circular, so that the name derived as the Cyclostomata. And the digestive system lacks intestine with the Teplosol present. The respiratory organs are the usually gills. There are 5 to 16 pairs of gills are present. Heart is two-chambered, one auricle and one ventricle. Generally, kidneys are mesonephric. Dorsal nerve cord differentiated into brain. Of about 8 to 10 pairs of cranial nerves are present. usually unisexual or bisexual organisms. Single gonad is present, very large, without any gonoduct. As usually, external fertilization takes place. The development may be direct or indirect, like the Petromyzon. So, in the indirect development, Ammocetus larva is seen, and Petromyzons have the horny teeth. The branchial basket is complete, whereas the Myxin has few teeth. Dorsal fin it may be feeble or the absent. Branchial basket is poorly developed in the case of Myxin, and development is direct. So the Petromyzon usually called as the lamprey because it shows ectoparasitic mode of life where it can attach to large vertebrates with its sucker like mouth and slowly sucks the blood from the host. In order to prevent the clotting of blood which has been sucked into the organism, they secrete a special material which is known as the special substance which is known as the lampredin, which inhibits the coagulation of blood, host blood, so that they are termed as the lamprey. Petromyzons are also known as the lamprey because they secrete an anticoagulant which is known as the lampredin. Myxin is commonly known as the hagfish, which attaches to the surface of the body of the large animals. So this is all about the anatha, where jaws are absent, true jaws are absent, and the mouth may be circular. It includes both the extinct and extant forms. Extinct forms are included under the ostracoderms, whereas the living forms they located included under the cyclostomata. And come to the gnathostomata. Gnatho means jaws, stome means mouth, eta means bearing animals. Those animals which bear jaws, true jaws in their mouth are included under the gnathostomata. Now, these gnathostomes are commonly called as the jawed vertebrates, where they have the true jaws, and another specific feature is presence of paired limbs, presence of paired locomotory organs. And all these gnathostomes they have divided into 7 classes. They have divided into 7 classes. One is the placodermy, another one is the chondrichthyes, followed by osteichthyes. Placodermy, chondrichthyes, osteichthyes. Now all these 3 classes are collectively called as the superclass Pisces or fishes. Pisces are the fishes. Gnathostomata get divided into 7 classes. They are placodermy, chondrichthyes, osteichthyes, amphibia, reptilia, aves, and the mammals. Aves and the mammals. Now, apart from all these 7, the first 3, placodermy, chondrichthyes, and the osteichthyes. These first three classes grouped under a superclass which is known as the Pisces or fishes. Remaining four classes: amphibia, reptilia, aves, and mammals. These four classes grouped under another superclass which is known as the tetrapoda. That means which bear four limbs. Which bear four limbs. That is the meaning of tetrapod. That indicates that the entire Gnathostomata get divided into two superclasses. One is the Pisces, another one is the tetrapoda. Pisces include placodermy, chondrichthyes, and osteichthyes, whereas the tetrapoda include amphibia, reptilia, aves, and mammalia. Let us see the Pisces. First one, all the placodermy, chondrichthyes, and osteichthyes, they grouped under Pisces. Pisces are also known as fishes. These organisms are fishes or fish-like aquatic forms with the paired appendages. Paired appendages along with the median fins, and they possess gills, and the exoskeleton may be made up of scales. Exoskeleton may be made up of the intradermal scales. That is the specialty of the Pisces. Let us see placodermy. Placodermy. Placo means plaques. The dermis contain plaque-like exoskeleton structures. Plaque-like exoskeleton structures. So that is, the dermis of these organisms contain plaque-like structures, bony structures, so that it is called as a placodermy. All the placodermy organisms are primitive and the earliest jawed fishes, and which were seen during the Paleozoic era. Paleozoic era, there are many orders of the fishes, primitive fishes, but they were extinct today. All these fishes, placodermy fishes, they have the bony head. So there are various examples for the placodermy, like the Dunkleosteus, Clymachius. These all are the placoderms. So later on we will see the images. Then the main feature of the placodermy is the ephatohyoid mode of jaw suspension. Ephatohyoid mode of jaw suspension is seen in the placoderms. Then coming to the chondrichthyes. Chondrin means cartilage. Chondrin means cartilage. Ichthyes means fish. Ichthyes means fish. Cartilaginous fishes. Cartilaginous fishes. Cartilage fishes. That is, all the chondrichthyes are marine forms, and the endoskeleton is made up of cartilage. Endoskeleton is made up of cartilage, so that they are called as the cartilaginous fishes. Whereas the exoskeleton possess are made up of placoid scales. This is the special feature of the chondrichthyes. Chondrichthyes are the cartilaginous fishes, where they have the cartilaginous endoskeleton, and the exoskeleton is made up of especially placoid scales. Placoid scales, they form the exoskeleton, and there is no operculum over the gills. That is, gills are not covered by, not protected by a lid-like structure, operculum. Operculum is absent. Operculum is absent. And these are the, most of them, they are the ureotelic organisms. All the aquatic animals usually they are aminotelic, but here they are the ureotelic because these all are tend to live in marine environment, where in the oceans. In order to overcome the osmoregulatory problems, these fishes, chondrichthyes fishes, they store urea in their blood. In order to overcome osmotic problems, chondrichthyes fishes, cartilaginous fishes, they store urea in their blood, and thereby they secrete urea only, ureotelic organisms. Ureotelic organisms. And one more interesting thing is, at the base of the claspers, base of the pelvic fins, they have one pair of claspers as the copulatory organs. Claspers are the copulatory organs which are located at the base of the pelvic fins, so that internal fertilization takes place, and they are the viviparous. Most of them they are the viviparous organisms. So all the sharks, skates, ray fishes, all of them they are included under the chondrichthyes, like the scoliodon, and the largest shark fish, that is the Rhinodon rhynchodon typus, and the smallest shark like the Scoliodon dogfish, and the chimera, and the electric rays like the torpedo narsin, and all these they are included under the all the sharks, rays, and skate fishes. Myliobatids like skate fishes, they are included under the chondrichthyes. Cartilaginous endoskeleton is seen. Cartilaginous endoskeleton is seen. Then coming to the osteichthyes. These are marine forms or freshwater forms. That is, the endoskeleton is made up of bone, bony fishes, whereas the exoskeleton, it may be formed by cyclid scales, gonoid scales, ctenoid scales, or the cosmoid scales. So the presence of placoid scales is the fundamental feature of the chondrichthyes fishes, whereas all other scales may be seen in the osteichthyes. So usually gills are covered by a lid-like structure which is called as the operculum. Usually aminotelic organisms. No copulatory organs are found. External fertilization takes place. These are the oviparous organisms. Oviparous organisms. Right? So the fishes which we are eating, all of them they are the bony fishes. Bony fishes. So as well all the Indian major carps like the Katla, Siranus mrigala, Labiorohita, and other fishes like Valagoattu, Anguilla, Tilapia, all these fishes are bony fishes. Hippocampus, like the seahorses, all of them they are included under the bony fishes are osteichthyes. Ostine, bony, ichthyes, fishes. Then coming to the tetrapoda, all of them they have the four limbs, one pair of hind limbs. Totally 4 legs are present, so that they are called as the tetrapoda. Apart from the tetrapoda, the first class is the amphibia. Amphibia. These are the animals which tend to live in the land as well as the aquatic environment. Amphi means both terrestrial mode of life, aquatic mode of life, and the bias means life. That is, in both the environments, they lead their life successfully. Most of the larval forms of these amphibians are usually aquatic and breathe with the gills, whereas the adults, some of them they are still aquatic and some of them they lead terrestrial mode of life. Whatever it may be, although they can lead the terrestrial mode of life during the breeding season, they have to reach their home environment, that is again aquatic environment. That is the specialty of the amphibians. So, as we know, in the amphibia, there were extinct forms in the Stegocephalia and the extinct forms in the Lis amphibia. So, there are various organisms included under the amphibia. Usually, frogs, newts, salamanders, and caecilians are included under the amphibians. Then, coming to the reptilia, these are the animals which lead complete terrestrial mode of life. Which lead terrestrial mode of life. So these are the terrestrial tetrapods, and the specialties are the skin is very dry and covered by ectodermally originated horny scales and the bony plates, scutes, and in the case of fishes, we find out only two-chambered heart, whereas in the amphibia and reptilia, we will see the three-chambered heart. In the highly developed reptilia, we will see four-chambered heart. That is in the case of crocodilia. And here the respiration is almost all pulmonary mode of respiration. That is, lungs are the main respiratory organs. In some of the marine turtles, we will see the cloacal respiration also. And in the reptilia, tortoises, turtles, snakes, coyotes, spinodon, crocodiles, and lizards, garden lizards, all other organisms are included under the class reptilia. The name itself representing reptilia means crawling animals. Reptilia means crawling animals. And coming to the next class, aves. These are the glorified reptiles. These are the glorified reptiles. And Huxley named them as the masters of air. Masters of air. So they can fly due to the presence of the wings, which are the modified forelimbs. The one pair of forelimbs get modified into wings. With the help of the wings, they can fly. Then thereby, the hind limbs, they meant for the walking, running, and perching. All these things will be done by the hind limbs. So there were modern birds and as well as the ancient birds like the Archaeopteryx. And within the modern birds itself, there are flightless birds like the ostrich, emu, and remaining all are the flying birds. Flightless birds and the flying birds. So they have various adaptations to fly when compared to the other organisms like the fishes, amphibians, reptiles, and the mammals. Okay, and the body of the organisms that is covered by feathers. Fishes, amphibians, reptiles are termed as poikilotherms, are the cold-blooded animals. Whereas the aves and mammals, they are called as the warm-blooded animals, otherwise homeotherms. They keep their body temperature at a constant level, although there is a change in the surrounding environmental temperature, so that the body of the aves covered by the feathers. Then last one, the mammalia. These are the highly developed vertebrates, and they have the mammary glands to secrete milk, through which the infants were fed by the mammals. Presence of mammary glands and extreme level of parental care is seen. Extreme level of parental care is seen. In order to maintain their homeothermic nature, the body is covered by the hair. Skin is highly glandular. In the males, the mammary glands are non-functional, whereas in the females, they are highly developed and they secrete milk for the suckling of the young. Usually, four-chambered heart and exclusively pulmonary respiration is seen. So, there are various organisms like the egg-laying mammals, prototherians, and those which have the marsupium. They are the marsupials like the kangaroo, and the highly developed mammals, they are eutherians. True mammals, they are divided into 16 orders, and they are grouped under into the 16 orders. The highly developed organisms like the human beings are also included under the mammals, under the order primates. Let us see various organisms and their examples, right from the protochordata to the mammals. Have a look over the organisms. Protochordates, these are the primitive chordates. The best examples are the urochordate and cephalochordates. Apart from the urochordata, we have Herdmania. We have the Herdmania. This is a representative of the urochordata. And coming to the cephalochordata, represented by Amphioxus, otherwise Branchiostoma lanceolatum. This is the Amphioxus, Branchiostoma lanceolatum, and these two are the protochordate examples. Come to the vertebrata. Apart from the vertebrata, we have the Aeneata, jawless vertebrates. Jawless vertebrates, where we will see ostracoderms and the cyclostomes. The best example for the ostracoderms, see here they are the jawless vertebrates, bottom dwellers, filter feeders. Bony armor is present, but they were extinct. The best examples are Cephalaspis, Hemicyclaspis. Cephalaspis and the Hemicyclaspis. Coming to the cyclostomata, which have the round or circular mouth. The best examples for the cyclostomata from the Petromyzantia, Petromyzan, and Myxinoidea, Myxin. Petromyzan commonly called as the lamprey, whereas Myxin commonly called as the hagfish. Lamprey and the hagfish. These are the best examples. Coming to the Gnathostomata, apart from the Gnathostomata, we will see the Placodermi. The best example is the Clymaceus and the Dunkleosteus. Then Chondrichthyes, cartilaginous fishes. Apart from the cartilaginous fishes, this is the Rhincodon typus, the largest shark. Osteichthyes, bony fishes. This is the tilapia. And apart from the amphibia, frog, Reptilia, various reptiles are there. Snakes, garden lizard, chameleon, turtles, testudo, crocodile, Komodo dragon, all these. Aves, our national bird, that is a peacock, Pavo cristatus, and from the mammalia, there were many mammals included under the uh, class Mammalia. This is the Panthera tigris, our national animal. So these all are the uh, classification of the phylum Chordata. So thank you, one and all.